Welcome to Season 7 of CX in the Wild. We're happy to have you back on the adventure with us again.
All right, welcome back to CX in the Wild. Today, I am thrilled to have Gabriella Coyne, founder and CEO of Ops Talent and the 2022 Businesswoman of the Year in Poland. Under her leadership, Ops Talent has become one of the most innovative places in the world for BPO excellence and customer experience. She's transforming adversity into opportunity in Poland. And what I think is really fascinating about this story is you're doing this in post-communist Poland. And, you know, Gabriella, I just am so grateful to have you on the show today. Let's just jump right in there. Thank you for being on the show. I'm like shocked that we're even talking. It never occurred to me to even talk to someone who's doing this. Let's start with your backstory. How did this all happen?
Yeah, Dennis, first, that's a lovely it's really beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And obviously, thank you for you taking your time to having me in your amazing podcast. I'm super excited. So let's start from the very, very beginning. That's true. Poland is a communist country. And I've been blessed to born in the time when we were still deep in the communism. And I remember as a child growing, and I know exactly what does it mean. So it's great to see the both sides of the story. Because if you come to Poland now, you would be really surprised how contemporary, modern, and great country and how great people we have here. So I might come back. I think that from maybe 2004 when Poland joined the European Union, because that was the massive step forward for our country. And I think this was still, and I was much, much younger. So I was just finished university and I was looking for the idea. I was looking for opportunity, how we can use that massive step I was born in entrepreneur, so for building the business. So I don't know if you were aware, but in 2004, Poland joined European Union with other 9 countries. So 10 countries joined European Union. So can you imagine that Poland is bigger than other 9 put together? So we are in the Central Europe, Central Eastern Europe. We are a big country, massive economy. So that was something that for Poland was absolutely amazing. So I remember that time I said, what can I do? How can I use that opportunity? So I had this idea. I went to my parents and I said, listen, we joining European Union. How can we make that, opportunity for making money? And I was 26 back then, and I was running this restaurant in my country, in Lubań, which is like 30,000 people, very small. So I knew there is no opportunity to make any good money. So, but that was my everyday job. And my dad said, "But what you gonna do?" I said, I go to London. I go for 6 months. I'm going to learn it. I have no English. That's very important. I have no word of English. 0. So I said, I go to school, I get some extra job, I learn English, and I will open a recruitment agency. So that was my first business idea. How can I make it much, much bigger than living in a small country and running small, tiny restaurant? So fair news to my parents. 3 days later, I was in a plane. He said, okay, off you go. So, and that was the big word. That was my second time in the plane, first time in the huge city of London, such excitement. And believe it or not, Dennis, I did this. 6 months, I learned English, I opened a recruitment agency, and I was sending a lot of Polish people into London initially, and then was all over Europe, and I even sending people to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So that was beginning, but obviously that wasn't the talent that we will be talking today about. And I was very lucky to meet my husband, Trevor. And we actually both were thinking after the recruitment started. It was very interesting experience. I learned tons about people. I learned tons about how manage the business, how to build a business. But if you could imagine, 2008 recession came. So the first companies that were getting into the trouble was recruitment agencies. So I got into serious trouble. Great lesson. I got really humble. Because if you think that nothing can go wrong and the money is coming and you send people and you're just so excited, we got into trouble. And I remember sitting with Trevor and we were thinking, okay, what can we do? Because he was in the property business, which unfortunately in Ireland was really damaged also. So we said, what can we do? How we can start some company? And I always dreamed to start company where people want to work with us, develop, grow. Was thinking about well-being back then and positive organization when Polish people never even thought about that yet, because that was like Google was doing this in America. So you had the experience of the positive organization, but in Poland, we never even, what is well-being? What is positive organization? And I was always kind of having this dream, and I knew I couldn't do it with the recruitment business, because what you do, you recruit and you send people and you don't have influence, how you can develop, how you can make them happy, or how you want, excuse me, want to make them stay with us. So and that idea was born, and then 12 years ago we decided, okay, why won't we go into outsourcing together? And this is when Ops Talent was born. So Trevor was and is still responsible for bringing the clients, traveling around the world, and I focus on building this beautiful company here. And the beginnings, I actually have a very interesting story. We had the first client, is a huge game company that's producing the games, computer games. And so we were delivering, that was our first client. So we were delivering, I think, around 7 or 9 languages, and was technical support. So it was kind of difficult straight away, challenges, difficult. I said, how we are going to do that? And great lesson. So we hired this, I don't want to be wrong, maybe 20, 30 people. And was the project initially was struggling. And I mean it, struggling. I said, oh my God, these people are so technical, should be going well. It's really, like, we're thinking we choose amazing people. They know all about games. They're passionate about games. But we couldn't make it happen. There was all the time some challenges, trouble, people were leaving, they weren't happy, like they couldn't take a constructive feedback. So we said, what can we do? So, and this was the same time also when we were thinking, how can we make that company to be positive organization? So we're doing these meetings in the office. It's, oh my God, what can we do? So everyone's throwing the ideas. And people say, yeah, we need to create a culture book. I said, yeah, great idea. All companies have a culture book. So we were writing, but I said, hey, no, this is my culture book. Like, cannot be company, you cannot create a book and put on the wall and everyone who you hire said, okay, this is our rules, so you have to follow them. That's not going to happen, never. Like, probably a lot of companies still doing this way, but that's not going to happen. You cannot teach this to people to be happy or humble or transparent or honest. So we were going on and on and on, and the project was struggling. And I remember we were sitting in the office one day and we said, okay, Dennis, if you ask me today who said that, I have no idea. There was probably 5 of us. We still work together with these people from the very, very beginning. And we said, you know what? These people are so different. Why will we just replace them and we hire on the soft skills? We hire people similar to us. We hire people who think similar, who are easygoing, who are positive, looking for solutions, not for problems. People who travel, people who want to change the world. Like, why we try to create this environment, just hire the right people. So this is what we did. So probably 6 months in, we replaced the team. The project started going smoothly. Everyone's happy, client is happy. And we had this Christmas party, and it's much more, maybe 50 of us. And I'm dancing and everyone's chatting, and then it's lovely. We have the success. We have another client, so everything going the way it should be. And Olga, who ran the company today, she said, oh my God, we have it. And I said, what? She said, we have it. I said, but what? She said, look, people are happy. People satisfied. Clients is happy. People want to work with us. We create it. That's our culture. We don't need culture book. We just need to hire the right people who want to grow that and foster that environment with you. So that was probably around 11 years ago. And so that was our magic formula, how to create the organization that will be different. Maybe it's a lot of organization like us, but like the minute then you come to the office, you can feel that kind of nice atmosphere that people actually probably not everyone, but people are actually happy to join, grow, and develop the company with us.
Is that different in Poland? Is because I've never lived in a communist environment. And to be fair, when you're in the United States, they tell us what communism is and how it would, I don't think any description of any other culture is as accurate as one might think. But as I hear you tell this story, I I have to believe that there is a human truth that in all cultures that there are good people
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that people want to help each other and find peace
That's
and
true.
find a happiness or harmony with each other, and you've done that in your business. Was that harder to do because of communism or after communism, or was that not significant?
Not at all. You see, that's the thing. That's when you surrounded yourself, but people who are similar to yourself, that have similar beliefs, have similar values, this magic happen itself. It's not work anymore. So it doesn't matter which country you come from and what you believe or what your color of skin or what your background, it's just it's go naturally. You can literally feel it. And this is what you always said, it's not work after a while when you come, and you come and you see, like, there is no micromanagement in talent. We never sit above the head of people and say this is doing wrong, you have to do this or that. Not that, like, you when you hire the right people, they literally tell you what to do. They know what to do. They know much better than you what to do. You know what I mean? So it's with time we notice these things actually happen naturally. And I
Yeah,
mean, it doesn't matter. Like today, we obviously most of us are Polish, but Poland, because we are big player now in the European Union market. We are eighth biggest economy in Europe. So, and the economy is growing. The economy is growing. So we have people that's moving from other countries living in Poland these days. So we have a lot of foreign people. 36% of people working in Upstaland are Polish and foreigners. So the environment is getting more international. And then I swear to God that is the magic formula is to just hire the right people, give them environment, give them right tools, give them freedom to do what they think is right. Because if you imagine from my perspective, what would be good in Upstalent is just my perspective. And I can say, oh yeah, I want these tools, or for my work, there will be different tools than for people who will be working on a project, or different who is in HR or in administration. So what we do, we actually asking people in Upstalent, what do you think, what will make your life easier? What can make your work easier? So, and if you follow those steps and you're actually listening to people and you delivering them what you can, obviously, because some things you cannot deliver everything, but you can. This magic can happen. And I swear to God, doesn't matter which country you come from. I don't think so. It's about the country. It's about what we have here inside us,
I hear you. But I want to. I had a discussion this morning,
Okay.
and you're making me try to think deeply about what I've seen around the world,
Okay.
and we talked a little earlier. I do want to come and do a story in Poland with you about
Yeah.
what's happening there with your teams and the people and the culture, because the fact of the matter is I'm not certain what you're saying is true all over the world. And I'll give you an example from this
Okay.
morning's conversation. There were conversations, we were in a group discussion, and
Okay.
I work with another gentleman who he's very much like you and very
Okay.
much like me. And he and I, we have separate businesses. Our businesses are not commingled. We do not share revenue. We are not partners. We are we are friends, but
Okay.
I would say more than, because we don't know each other personally. We've never met in person. We've never hung out together in person. But we're allies for certain. And when my business or I have a production issue or I need extra people, he says to his people, hey, Dennis's team needs support. And because my teams, probably like your teams, because my team work all over the world 24 hours a day, my teams are working and his teams are working. So when there is a need, the teams sort of commingle for 24 hours to get the job solved, and then they split back off. And there's no way to demand or command or instruct a team to operate that way. To your point, you cannot micromanage that behavior. You have a culture of collaboration and a culture where people want other people to succeed. And it maybe it comes from overcoming adversity. And this is why I say that. My teams that are in other countries where they have overcome adversity, they prioritize the well-being of the group that's in adversity over everything else. It's like, what do you need? I have this, you take this, let's share this, let's solve the problem. And once the problem is solved, then there is an accounting of like, okay, how do we make this even again? Whereas there are other people who we were in the discussion, and their perspective is accountability first, and then making it fair and accountable up front before anybody takes a step. And myself and this other guy, we believe in making it work first and figure out later. And I feel like what you're saying is you give your people freedom to solve problems and work together and feel safe to succeed. And I believe that it's a universal want, but I'm not certain it exists everywhere. And I think people think it doesn't exist in communistic places, but you're telling me right now that it certainly is where you are.
It is definitely, Dennis. And you know what? I actually remember we were 5 or 6, 2017, when we got the first award. And the award was the best place to work in Europe, Employer of the Year in London. And I remember we weren't thinking we are unique. We weren't thinking we are different. We were thinking we're just small family outsourcing company. We were small back then, it was like 200 people. So nobody was thinking that we could have something special. You operate it every day. So we work hard to actually make clients satisfied. We have these KPIs, SLAs, you have to meet them all. With our industry, you have a lot of metrics. You need to make sure that they're working and then clients is satisfied. And on the top of that, we're looking after our culture and obviously people, because people are essential in this business. So I remember we said, yeah, let me try. And we never ever took any part of any competition in our industry. And it was done by ECCCSA. This is one of the biggest competition in our part of the world for the contact center industry. And I said, Jesus, we've no chance. But I said, no, let's try it. Let's just, what we can lose. Like a few weeks of work of preparation, which was good for us because you actually working on so many statistics that you didn't think you wanted to work before. So we were preparing all these competitions, all was sent. Few weeks in, we are shortlisted. I said, Jesus, to 7 companies. I said, oh my God, we shortlisted. Like nobody could be screaming in office. We were happy. I said, that's impossible. Anyway, so when we shortlisted, we said, yeah, we need to go on this gala because we have a chance of win. I don't think so we're going to win, but we have a chance. So believe it or not, Dennis, we got the first place. We're talking about thousands of companies like us trying to win that award. So I am not kidding, the excitement. And then suddenly you think, oh my God, we're really doing something different. Because recognition like that is beyond an expectation for us, especially doing this first time. And you're going to one of the biggest contents in Europe. So he said, we weren't even thinking to be shortlisted. We just want to get the experience. So, and I remember I was speaking with one of the judges who was in our office, because the judges coming to the office and they're speaking with myself and Trevor. They were speaking with management. They were speaking with people. And one of the judges told me after, Gabby, I have a lot of years of experience in the industry and I'm visiting a lot of companies every year. And said, you guys, one of the smallest I ever been, but you're the most special. He said, if you're able to keep that culture when you're adding people, he said, you will be really, really one of the pairs in our industry. And I was so excited. I said, oh my God. And then we won. So that gave us such a kick. Like, we could do things differently, and then it's like, seriously, and after that, then we still, we didn't change. Hope, touch wood, we are not going to change when we're adding new people. Obviously, pandemic was the challenge because people cannot work in the office, they're doing home office. So that's, it's another story also. But still, we're trying to grow and then develop our people and make clients happy as much as possible on every day of our work,
Why do you think people are happy? Why do you think your agents are happy? Is it do your agents have quotas?
Quotas?
Yeah. Do they have to make a certain number of calls or a certain?
Oh yeah, of course. No, you see, we are contact center when 90% of the job is clients ringing us. It's like infoline, so the clients ringing and we answer. We multilingual customer support, so we answering in different languages. So our KPIs, it's not how many calls we gonna make. It's not working like that. It's we are answering calls, and the most important KPI is a happy customer. So every call we make, we have to make sure the clients is this kind. Of course, it's impossible in the ideal world, would be, but not in our industry. But the goal is for us. It's to go beyond to make the customer happy. So of course we have, yes, and we obviously we're not meeting the KPIs in 100%. Come on, we are, it's impossible. But yes, we are. Clients are satisfied to the extent they staying with us for years. They adding other services. We have even one client that recommends another client who is our clients also. So that was something that we said, wow, if clients recommending us, that means we're doing something wrong, something right. So
how do you find the right agents?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So as I told you, when we were challenged, the first client was our challenge, and we were wondering what did we do wrong? So when we were hiring the first 20 people for our company, we focused on that was technical project, and our main focus was technical skills. We weren't thinking about other skills, just technical. They need to be very, very technical. So when we all change, we are hiring on the soft skills. Obviously, it's very important to that. If this is French support, they need to be fluent French. If this is French technical support, they need to be technical and French. But the most important, maybe not the most, but yeah, it's crucial for us that we're hiring people with the similar values. So Poland is a big country, as I told you. It's 38 million people. To find people with like us today in our industry and in our office, we don't have any challenge. We are delivering now in 30 languages. So we didn't challenge, wasn't so far, again, touch wood, so far was a challenge for us. It's not difficult to find people that is in Wrocław where we live. So how we recruit? We also changed our recruitment process completely. Like the most important for us is to have a conversation. Like when I recruit sometimes, and I still do, not often, but I still do. So my longest interview was 6 hours, I think, with the girl who still worked with us from the very, 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 very beginning of our company. So it wasn't really interview. We're trying to have a conversation and see who you really are. You know, because it's technology. Of course, we are technology-driven business. But you know what? When you look on the young people, they're born with the phone. So it's you can learn, you can teach people any technology, and it's but you cannot teach people to be happy and good. So I think that's your like it's this your DNA. You know, you're born in center way. Of course, you develop through your childhood and then through your teenager age and adults. But most of us are good people. So and I think the question you asked me, what is happiness? And you know what? It's when we part of our onboarding, we ask this question too. What is happiness for you? Because happiness for me will be totally different than happiness for you, Dennis. And when you ask someone who work for me, will be totally different reason to be happy. So we ask that question. We ask this question also. So for me, it would be family. You know, will be develop myself. It's obstacle. This is my fourth baby. I come here and I said, oh my God, I want to feel good. You know, so it's when we were designing the office. Believe it or not, we were asking people preference of the colors. We were asking, do you want billard? Do you want massage table, chairs? Do you want beach or Japanese garden? Because we have a beach in the middle of our office with a camper van and some cozy seats that you can lay down. So that we had some ideas, but people were choosing what will make their place to work, make them feel happy. Because when you come into the space, when you're surrounded by fun people, positive people, and you have a nice surrounding, you feel happier.
Gabriella, it's been so nice talking to you. What's clear to me is your focus on happiness.
Correct.
It's interesting because you mentioned your connection to Dubai, and Dubai's government has a happiness metric that they have in their government that they apply to the businesses in their economy. So, that side of the world is so far ahead of the Western side in terms of measuring happiness as a standard. But I've heard a lot of leaders talk about good culture, certainly important. Happy employees make for happy customers. But it's clear that there's a deeper story about where happiness comes from and how you convey it to others. And I suspect that at your business, at Ops Talent, giving happiness to others is a core business asset of yours, and it'd be very interesting to learn more about that. I really appreciate you being on the show today. In our final words, I'd love for you to give any other call center leader advice about how to create a culture where every agent feels safe and empowered to give happiness to each other and to customers.
I think the first thing came to my heart is listen to your people. Listen to them. And I think you can find out we have amazing stories here. And again, this is what I said initially. Happiness, it's totally different. Happiness is totally different for me, Dennis, and for every single person who works in Ops Talent. So if you're listening to them and try to create as much as possible, because it's impossible to make everyone happy. It's impossible to make this place where everyone wants to stay and will stay. But if you can actually be the leader that you are for your people, always, not them for you, you are for them, and you're listening, and you are with an organization and you're talking to them, you yourself personally, and you deliver what you promise, what you can deliver, I think you cannot ask for more. And the other thing that is the biggest advice is to hire the right people. Hire the people who are better than you, hire the people with a positive outlook on life, hire the people who are problem solvers, and hire, I know it may be cliche, happy people, but you know what? It's so important, because if you have suddenly in one office 50 people who are positive, talk active, open, transparent, chatty, the magic is happening because the vibration are so high, because all of us are similar. So there's no more magic formula. So can you imagine if you listen to these people and said, okay, you know what, Gabi, we can make our work easier if we do A, B, C, D. I said, okay, that could be easily done. Wow. And then you're listening, okay, you have a challenge here, how we can overcome that challenge. Oh yeah, it's simply from my perspective, again, as a leader, you're not sitting in this everyday task all the time. It's impossible. So
You said a lot. I want to jump in because you said so much there, and I was going to wrap the podcast up, but I want to acknowledge a couple of things you said there that ring true. One, I want to thank you for doing this podcast in English. So thank you.
thank you.
It's an honor to have you speak in a language that I can understand, and I'm certain our listeners appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
oftentimes we don't say thank you enough for that. The other thing is, when I asked you about your advice to enable people to give happiness, what you said was interesting in terms of you can't make everyone happy. And then you went on to describe a sense of honesty that is a core component or a core element to the ability to give happiness, which rings very true to me. And I'll share with you that my children are happy children. And I myself, I'm not certain I was very happy growing up. I'm happy now, but my children, one of the early lessons that I taught them was honesty about life. And I tried to explain to them that in things in life, there are things we don't have to like them. We have to do them. We don't have to be happy about them. We have to do them. There are duties that we have to do. We don't always have to feel happy. And understanding that in some way makes us happier when we are. And that happier is what gets passed. And I just thought it was very interesting and valuable that you were honest that one of the things that you do to spread happiness is acknowledge that it's not always happy, that it's something we work for.
And we do our best. That's what we should do. We always do our best. With the same as you said about the kids, you're raising kids, you always try to be your best parent, and then sometimes it's not working, even you try your best. You said, oh my God, what did I just said to them, So, so it's impossible, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people, and then, the job could be stressful, the client's ringing, they're angry, so then you're putting that stress on you. So we said, no, don't take that personally, it's like, it's Dennis, you couldn't summarize it more.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the podcast. We are going to talk more in person in Poland.
Yes.
Also, because I'm chairing an event in Berlin, I do think that if we're going to get together there, I'm working on some details, but I may invite you to come be a speaker at that event. I think you would be a fantastic person on stage. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pure pleasure. Thank you. I am happy that we met, not in person yet. I hope we meet soon. And then thank you for your time. All the best.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like to access other podcasts, YouTube videos, or join Dennis on other adventures around the world, be sure to connect with us at www.globalvoiceofcx.com. Until next time, stay curious.